Overcharged walking stick caffeinated Magiluminescence WX78 goes zoom! Hey there, my name is Soundrak and welcome to the final installment of my Don't Starve Reign of Giants coverage of the caves and ancient ruins. If you saw the last episode, then you already know what this one is all about, so let's just hop right in. The final ruins biome we need to talk about is the Labyrinth, which is how you get to the sacred biome, and which contains the lair of the boss of the ruins, the Ancient Guardian. As noted last episode, the Labyrinth consists of a maze of narrow hallways. It has lots of dead ends, but many of these dead ends will contain ornate chests that have a chance to contain some valuable loot. The chests themselves can be destroyed in single player Don't Starve, but simply vanish and don't drop anything except any contents still inside. Whenever you open a chest for the first time, it has a 66% chance to set off a trap, which can be good or bad, such as raising or lowering your hunger, health, or sanity by 20 points, spawning a dangling depth dweller or terror beak, or increasing or decreasing the durability or spoilage of inventory items by 20%. Throughout the labyrinth, there will be plenty of dangling depth dweller spiders, and as with all spider webbing, you can just walk along the edges of the hallways and generally avoid triggering the spiders. As noted last time, in single player Don't Starve, you can destroy the nest if you stand in the middle of the webbing, checking the map to make sure your icon is centered on the spider icon and burning a single log. This does not work in DST though. Scattered throughout the labyrinth will be plenty of nightmare lights, which makes it a less than friendly biome during the nightmare phase due to decreased area to avoid hordes of rampaging shadow creatures. And somewhere in the labyrinth you will find the lair of the Ancient Guardian, which generally leads to the sacred biome. The Guardian's lair is easily recognized by its large square patch of muddy turf, which contains a mix of lichen and light flowers with 4 large pillars on each corner. The Guardian himself resembles and behaves like a clockwork rook, but rather than being a machine, appears to be a living creature. The boss has 2,500 health, and his attack deals a big 100 damage per hit, so don't go anywhere near this guy if you aren't wearing armor, and in single player, stacked armor is a good idea, though you'll need to stay close to the light flowers or place some other light sources in the area. There are several ways to down this boss safely. If you've got some gunpowder, you can freeze the Guardian with 2 shots of an ice staff, then plant 12 gunpowder at its feet and light them. This won't be enough to kill him and he'll be on fire after the gunpowder goes boom, but then a few hits with a good weapon or 1 blow dart will finish him off. Just make sure the fire is out first, otherwise his most valuable loot, the Guardian's horn, will drop as ash. A small herd of rock lobsters will take out the Guardian pretty easily. Just bring 4 or more of the crustaceans, the bigger the better, and they should be able to take down the boss with minimal casualties. They're also handy in the labyrinth for dealing with the spiders, though getting them to the Guardian might be a bit time consuming. The Guardian can also be cheesed by placing 2 campfires as close together as you can, and then getting him trapped in between them. I recommend freezing him first so you can place the campfires safely. If you're up for an extra challenge, you can also fight the Guardian mano a mano, but he's quite dangerous, so make sure you come prepared with plenty of backup armor, healing foods, and an ice staff if you need to take a breather. To do the fight yourself, you'll need lots of speed to avoid his attacks and get hits in yourself, and will want at least a walking stick to toggle to and probably a Magiluminescence as well. Bonus points if you've got coffee from a shipwrecked world. Just land 1 to 2 hits when he finishes his charge, then run straight away and then up or down once he starts to charge, and then rush back in for some more hits. This is generally how he's fought legit style in DST, because in that game he breaks campfires, has 10,000 health, and will generally destroy rock lobsters before they can destroy him. That said, in both games he can also be cheesed if a pillar is positioned properly near the edges, though bear in mind that this can sometimes result in some of his drops falling into the void. Speaking of drops, the Ancient Guardian will give you 8 meat when killed, and the Guardian's horn. The horn is actually a food item and counts as meat, so be careful if you're carrying it around bunnymen. It provides 75 food points and 60 health at a cost of 15 sanity, but you won't want to use it as food as it is also needed for a particularly useful crafting recipe we'll talk about later. Once defeated, an ornate chest will also appear, which can contain a wide variety of extremely valuable items. and in Don't Starve Together it will also contain the Ancient Key, which is needed to initiate the fight with the Ancient Fuel Weaver. But now that we've covered all of the biomes and dangers of the ruins, let's talk about the real reason for coming here, the treasures that can be crafted at the Ancient Pseudoscience Station. A fully repaired station has a total of 14 recipes that can be crafted, and here they are in the order listed at the station. Note that all of these recipes can only be used when physically at a pseudoscience station, as unlike other crafting, the recipes here are not learned by the character and then craftable elsewhere. Thulecite is needed for most of the other crafting recipes and can be made from 6 thulecite fragments, which are obtained from broken thulecite walls and damaged clockworks. Thulecite walls is just one of the many types of walls in the game and are generally used for decorative purposes only. The Thulecite Medallion is honestly a pretty useless item. It tells you what phase of the nightmare cycle you're in, but it only works when you're in the ruins, where if you know what to look for, you can easily tell what the phase is without the medallion. In DST though, it does show the location of the Ancient Key in case someone wandered off with it, and is also used to craft Wigfrid's Bel Canto of Courage songbook. There are 3 chest-worn amulets that can be crafted. The Lazy Forager requires a rare orange gem and will automatically pick up nearby items off the ground 225 times before it breaks. Honestly not terribly useful, though in DST it is the only way to retrieve items that you can otherwise not get to. The Magiluminescence, which requires a yellow gem, is a decent item that provides light, a small sanity boost, and a 20% speed boost that stacks with other boosters, such as a walking stick. At 100% durability, it will last a full day, and it can be refueled with Nightmare Fuel, which restores 37.5% of its durability. It's not terribly useful in single player, except maybe for fighting the Ancient Guardian, but in DST it is quite handy for several boss fights, as it makes kiting things much easier. And last of the amulets, the Construction Amulet, which needs a green gem, will reduce by half the ingredients needed to craft any other item or structure. I'll talk more about this one in a minute. As with the amulets, there are also 3 staffs that can be crafted. The Lazy Explorer is an upgrade of the walking stick and takes 2 orange gems. It has the same 25% speed boost as the walking stick that is also a required ingredient, but also allows you to telepoof 20 times at a cost of 15 sanity, helpful for getting across otherwise uncrossable terrain. The Starcaller staff consumes 2 yellow gems and summons a dwarf star that provides heat, can be used to cook food like a campfire, and has a pretty strong sanity boost, though it costs 20 sanity to use it. In DST, it is a great item to use in the winter or to light up areas for extended boss fights, but in single player it is borderline useless as it only lasts for 2 minutes, whereas in DST the star lasts for 3.5 days. In both games it has 20 uses. And last of the staffs is the Deconstruction Staff that, as its name suggests, will allow you to deconstruct any item or structure, returning 100% of the crafting ingredients rather than the half you usually get from, say, hammering a structure. This is particularly valuable on items like pan flutes, as even a low durability flute will return a fresh mandrake, which can be used to make a new full durability pan flute. However, any gems used to make an item will not be returned, and it costs 20 sanity per use. It can be used a total of 5 times. The Deconstruction Staff requires 2 green gems to make, but combined with the Construction Amulet, the pair can be used to essentially duplicate certain items. For example, one fantastic use of these 2 items is to wear the Construction Amulet to craft a Thulecite suit, using only 3 of the normally required 6 Thulecite, and then use the Deconstruction Staff to return a full 6 Thulecite. If you're short on green gems, you can also use the Construction Amulet to make the staff, so that it only costs 2 gems total to make the pair of items. Next on the list is the Pickaxe, which functions as both a mining pick and an axe, and requires a gold version of each to make. It is 33% more efficient at harvesting than its gold counterparts, though I generally don't bother making this item, as by the time I've gotten to the ruins I generally have more gold than I know what to do with, while Thulecite is generally much better used for other items. In DST it also functions as a mediocre weapon, dealing 42.5 damage per hit, the same as a bat, but in single player it does less damage than a spear. but a great use for excess Thulecite. Next on the list we have the Thulecite Crown and the Thulecite Suit. Both of these armors sport 90% damage reduction, and the Crown has 1200 durability while the Suit has 1800 durability. The Suit also provides 3.3 sanity per minute while worn, while the Crown has a 33% chance to create a force field that will protect you from all non-fire damage for 4 seconds when you're hit by something. This field provides a little bit of light and gives stun protection, but 5% of incoming damage while shielded will be deducted from your sanity. The force field can only occur once every 9 seconds, but all things considered, with their high durability, additional perks, and high damage absorption, these are 2 fantastic armor items, and is generally what I spend most of my Thulecite on, especially in single player. What good is fancy armor without a neat weapon to go along with it? Well, good thing there's the Thulecite Club, which does 59.6 damage per hit, the same as a freshly crafted handbat, and has 150 durability. It also boosts movement speed by 10% and has a 20% chance to spawn Shadow Tentacles, which will attack nearby enemies for an additional 34 damage per hit. The tentacles only last for 9 seconds and will drain your sanity if you stay close to them, but can't be attacked themselves. All things considered though, a pretty fantastic weapon. And last but certainly not least, the final item on the list is the epically named Houndius Shootius, which requires 5 Thulecite, a Deerclops eyeball, and the horn of the Ancient Guardian to craft. Crafting the item will place a kit in your inventory that can then be used to place the Houndius Shootius structure wherever you like, but be aware that once placed it cannot be relocated. It functions pretty much like a laser turret and will shoot energy projectiles at hostile mobs or anything you've attacked or tried to attack, except shadow creatures. I personally like to place these in my Hound Defense Tooth Trap area so it can live up to its name, but it can also be used to farm butterflies, birds, or other creatures without increasing your naughtiness. It has 1000 health, regenerates 12 health per second, and can be healed with non-food healing items such as a honey poultice. Its attack deals 65 damage per hit, and if you manage to craft a couple of these things by clearing out multiple ruins or world hopping, they can be quite the potent force indeed. And that's it for my coverage of the caves and ancient ruins. All things considered, these areas can be a lot of fun to explore, and the rewards for doing so are quite potent. Just make sure you're prepared for the challenges that await you. Be sure to let me know down in the comments how you do in your spelunking adventures. Thanks for watching, and now get out there and don't starve.